When it comes to dividend investing, one of the most common goals people talk about is reaching the point where their portfolio generates enough income to cover part of their living expenses. Some aim for a few $100s a month, while others dream of a full-time income. But one milestone stands out as both ambitious and achievable: building $1,000 per month in passive income. In this video, I want to break down exactly how you could reach that $1,000 per month mark using SCHD. We'll talk about how much capital it takes, how long it might take depending on your contributions, and why dividend growth makes a huge difference in the long run. By the end, you'll have a roadmap you can adapt to your own financial journey. Let's start with the most basic question. How much money do you actually need invested in SCHD to hit that target? Right now, SCHD yields around 3.5 to 3.6%. That means for every $100 you invest, you can expect to receive about $3.60 per year in dividends. To generate $12,000 a year, which is the same as $1,000 per month, you'd need roughly $333,000 invested. That's the target portfolio size that gets you to this level of income at today's yield. Now, for some people, that number sounds intimidating. $250,000 is no small feat, but don't get discouraged. What really matters is how you get there over time. Most people don't build that kind of portfolio overnight. They do it by consistently investing month after month, letting compounding do the heavy lifting in the background. So let's consider some examples. If you started with $10,000 and were able to invest $500 a month into SCHD, assuming a reasonable 8% average return over the long term, it would take you 17 years to reach the point where your dividends hit $1,000 per month. That may sound long, but remember, along the way, your dividends are growing, your portfolio value is compounding, and you're building wealth that not only pays income but can also appreciate in value. If you could step that up to $1,000 a month, the timeline shortens dramatically. At that contribution level, it might take closer to 13 years to reach your goal. And if you're fortunate enough to put in $2,000 a month, you could realistically hit the milestone in 8 years. These timelines highlight the importance of both consistent investing and the power of compounding. Even if you start small, staying disciplined and letting time work in your favor can bridge the gap between where you are today and where you want to be. But here's where things get even more interesting. SCHD isn't just about its current dividend yield, it also has a history of dividend growth. Over the past decade, SCHD has steadily increased its payouts, often outpacing inflation. That means the income stream you build today doesn't stay stagnant. It grows over time, giving you more purchasing power in the future. For example, if SCHD pays you $3.60 on every $100 invested today, that figure might be significantly higher 10 years from now as the companies in the fund continue to increase their dividends. Dividend growth is one of the most powerful aspects of long-term investing because it helps your income stream keep pace with rising living costs. It's not just about reaching $1,000 per month, it's about maintaining and growing that income once you achieve it. Another concept worth talking about is yield on cost. This measures the dividend you receive relative to the price you originally paid for your investment. Imagine buying SCHD at $27 per share with a $1 annual dividend. That's a yield of about 3.7% at the time of purchase. But if the dividend grows 10% annually, in 20 years it could reach more than $6.50 per share. At that point, your yield on cost is much higher. It's closer to 20%. In other words, the same investment you made 20 years ago is now producing much more income relative to your original outlay. That's why long-term investors love dividend growth ETFs like SCHD. Over time, the combination of reinvested dividends and rising payouts means your portfolio becomes more powerful than you could have imagined in the early years. Let's not forget the role of reinvestment. If you take your dividends and immediately reinvest them into more shares of SCHD, you're essentially buying additional income-generating assets every quarter. Those extra shares then produce dividends of their own, creating a snowball effect. At first, it feels slow and incremental, but after 10 or 15 years, reinvested dividends can make up the majority of your portfolio's growth. That's the magic of compounding in action. So, what does this all mean for someone chasing $1,000 per month? It means that reaching the target is less about hitting it instantly and more about building a process that gets you there. If you can commit to consistent contributions, reinvest your dividends, and stay invested through market ups and downs, the math eventually works in your favor. Now, of course, there are risks to consider. SCHD is an equity ETF, which means it's subject to market volatility. Dividends are never guaranteed, and yields can fluctuate depending on broader economic conditions. That said, SCHD's focus on high-quality, dividend-paying companies has historically provided stability and strong performance compared to many other funds. At the end of the day, building $1,000 a month in dividend income with SCHD comes down to three things: time, consistency, and patience. You need time for compounding to work, consistency in your contributions, and patience to ride out the inevitable ups and downs of the market. The exciting part is that this isn't just theory. Thousands of investors are already on this journey, using SCHD as the backbone of their passive income strategy. Whether you're just starting with a small monthly contribution or you already have a sizable portfolio, the path to $1,000 per month is clear. It's about sticking with the plan, reinvesting along the way, and letting dividend growth do its magic. Thanks for watching, and if you found this breakdown helpful, make sure to subscribe for more SCHD focused content. I'll be sharing regular updates, strategies, and insights as I continue building my own dividend portfolio. The journey to $1,000 a month is one worth taking, and SCHD is how I am going to get there.